Hello, Guyana. Welcome to the Earth Hour show. I am Sasha Jaigran, and tonight I will be your host. Every year at 8:30 p.m. on the last Saturday of March, millions of people across the world join in speaking up for nature. Tonight is no different, so I hope you're all ready to do the same here in this beautiful land of ours to help bring change in behaviors and attitudes towards the protection and preservation of nature. We have a packed program with conservation experts and various influencers speaking up for nature and raising awareness to keep our rivers clean. Also, we have performances by Jackie Jacks and Gavin Mendonca. So now we will get right into the program. First up, we have a message by Miss Aisha Williams about Earth Hour 2021.
It's clearer than ever that our future and the future of our planet are intrinsically linked. And it's more urgent than ever that we all take stock of our actions to ensure we safeguard nature. Earth Hour 2021 is a key moment to unite people around for the preservation of nature. So on this day, millions of people around the world are unified to speak up for nature by switching off their non-essential lights for 1 hour. In Guyana, we unite similarly. This Earth Hour, we focus on speaking up for safeguarding our huge network of rivers and freshwater systems. In our country, rivers are integral parts of our lives, livelihoods, and economy. It is even in our name, Guyana, land of many waters. We as Guyanese are fortunate to have such an abundant and valuable resource. Over 1 billion people around the world aren't. In a world where clean water is more and more scarce, our rivers are of major importance as they carry the world's most precious natural resource. We have the responsibility to be stewards for rivers and freshwater systems. This Earth Hour, we invite you to speak up for our rivers, even as we endeavor to act responsibly. Let us all unite to safeguard our rivers now.
Moving along with our program, we will take our first look at the official Earth Hour 2021 music video. The soundtrack for this video was performed by Natasha Bedingfield.
Hi, I'm Felicity.
I'm Yoon.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Weeby.
I'm Dimple.
And I'm speaking up for biodiversity.
For our forests,
Rivers and ocean
For healthy soil.
On clean air.
Walking through the shadows, out here in the night. Just need some hope for tomorrow. We will be fine. In the middle of the valley, when you're looking for light, I'm right behind ya, I'm with ya, time after time. I got you through and through. Cover me, I'll cover you. I'm staying by your side.
We can't physically be together shoulder to shoulder, but we are together screen to screen.
When we all unite, we can overcome the most difficult of challenges.
we are in this together.
Estamos en esto juntos.
Và cùng nhau, chúng ta có thể làm được.
This is the time to speak up for nature and show we care.
守护地球，一起更美更好。
Earth Hour has been a moment for millions of people to come together.
Taiwan and Auckland in New Zealand or Sydney in Australia.
首次开启线上互动仪式。
Join me and millions around the world.
与全世界一起关灯，支持 Earth Hour。
Earth Hour.
Earth Hour.
I'm switching off for Earth Hour because I think our planet is worth fighting for.
Change starts with us.
And it doesn't matter how small the thing you're doing.
If we can all make small steps in our daily lives, it all adds up to make a big difference.
The COVID-19 pandemic has taught us new ways to work together and support one another. As we emerge from this challenging health, social and economic crisis, it is important that we continue to work together to face the planet's climate and nature crisis.
Together in this, together we're strong and never alone.
Let us all put our hearts to the health of nature, and we must act now.
Common solution.
Working together, strongly support
nuestro planeta.
humanity's impact.
Now
on
is the time to act.
Join us on the 27th of March at 8:30 p.m. for Earth Hour and Speak Up for Nature.
Connect to Earth. It is our only home, and we are all in this together.
Happy Earth Hour.
Happy Earth Hour.
Looking at the video, it was quite inspirational to see all kinds of people from all parts of the world speaking up for nature. Now we will hear from a very influential voice who has a passion for the environment and livelihood of the people of Guyana. The First Lady of Guyana, Her Excellency Arya Ali.
Earth Hour is a time when Guyanese come together with the rest of the world to speak up for nature. As your First Lady, my desire is to see a Guyana where our people live in harmony with the natural environment by embracing more sustainable approaches to development and becoming more responsible. We live in a beautiful land, blessed with densely forested areas, rich biodiversity, natural resources, and of course, large volumes of fresh water. Our land of many waters is a treasure that is most valuable to life, as water is already becoming increasingly scarce in some parts of the world. Guyanese, we are privileged to have such an abundance of fresh water flowing through our mighty rivers, lakes, creeks, and wetlands. However, we must not take this for granted, as there are some growing threats from pollution to the health of our freshwater systems. Earth Hour presents our country with an opportunity to secure the future for generations to come and to connect to nature in a way that we have not done before. So, I urge you all to join me in speaking up for nature and for the protection of our rivers from pollution, and switch off your lights for the future of our country and the entire world.
Thank you, Madam First Lady. In this segment, we will focus on the importance of fresh water. Fun fact, Guyana is the land of many waters and is ranked among the top 5 countries worldwide for freshwater availability per capita. Water has shaped our land and connects us as a people.
Water. It's one of the most important resources we have on Earth. Protecting and conserving freshwater resources is essential to ensuring water security, allowing for a future in which our children can thrive. Here in Guyana, we are surrounded by such a special and crucial ecosystem where water flows throughout the length and breadth of the country, primarily through its 3 main river systems, the Essequibo, Demerara, and Berbice. Our river systems are amongst the largest in South America and support massive amounts of biodiversity. These river systems also provide a number of crucial services, as they are the main source of fresh water needed to grow the food that we eat. We depend on our natural freshwater systems to grow our rice, our sugar, our cash crops, and our livestock. And so, we have created our own systems that help channel all this water to our farms and homes. Our dependency on the rivers goes beyond just agricultural activity. Rivers function as the main arteries for transportation of people and products, and is key for our economic activities in the extractive sector. Unfortunately, though, this incredible natural resource is becoming more and more at risk every day. Climate change-related events such as droughts and extreme flooding, pollution tied to agriculture, and other high-impact land use activities such as mining, and poor waste management are among the main threats that are seriously impacting the quality, availability, and conditions of fresh water in Guyana. This lack of foresight is causing serious issues to the health and well-being of humans, especially for the most vulnerable ones. Nevertheless, there is hope still. We must ensure that the government remains committed to keeping conservation efforts at the forefront of our country's present and future. As citizens, it is our responsibility to work towards ending the degradation and misuse of our freshwater resources. We all can and must do our part by shifting towards more sustainable practices that can help us grow, while also keeping us and our freshwater systems safe and vibrant, exactly as they should be. Together, we can keep our waters healthy, ensuring a better future for nature and our people.
We will now visit an amazing place that holds many of our natural treasures. Joining us again is Aisha, who will tell us a bit about the different roles water plays in people's livelihoods and for nature.
Thank you, Sasha. Yes, the importance of rivers and freshwater systems are evident in our natural surroundings as it is evident in our day-to-day lives. For some communities more than it is for others. Take for instance the Rupaduni. Within this region, freshwater systems, hydrological flow, and seasonal changes have shaped the unique and diverse landscape, wildlife, and a way of life of communities and Guyanese.
The Rupaduni Wetlands boast an unrivaled array of wildlife with over 1,400 types of animals. To understand why this area has such diverse wildlife, we have to go back in time. A huge river called the Proto-Berbice carved the Rift Valley as it flowed through the entire region to the Atlantic. Later, when the land rose, the waters split with the eastern rivers flowing north and the western rivers flowing south. But the Rupaduni Wetlands continue to provide a link between the Amazon and the Essequibo waters, reflecting the ancient river 2.6 million years after it disappeared. During the rainy season, when the region's savannas and forests flood, the waters of the two rivers merge, forming wetlands, allowing animals to move between them. For most of the year, the Rupaduni Wetlands shrink, and the two rivers are separate. Much of the savanna is sun-baked and dry. When heavy rain falls in the mountains, the rivers burst their banks. The Earring River floods out across the Rupaduni Wetlands and flows back up the Pirara Creek. The Rupaduni River rises and floods back up the Bununi Creek, creating a temporary lake, recreating the historic portal between the two rivers. During the floods, fish such as the giant arapaima move out across the Rupaduni Wetlands to spawn. At this time of plenty, the vast numbers of fish attract a rainbow of birds, giant river otters, and caiman. It is also an important time for local communities to hunt and fish. And tourists come to view the mixing of wildlife from the Amazon and the Essequibo basins. As the waters recede, the fish and other wildlife travel back to the main rivers until next year's flood. The Rupaduni Wetlands sustain the region's rich wildlife and the livelihoods of the 8,000 people who live there. It is truly the heartbeat of Guyana.
So you see, this ecological and hydrological wonder based on rivers and fresh water millions of years ago, currently gives us what we experience and which the peoples of the Rupununi depend on now. This rich landscape supports the lives and the livelihood of communities. For Rupununi villages, people's homes are placed in strategic locations based on people's knowledge of the flood patterns and river flows. Their farming patterns and crops are similarly positioned and timed so as to have the best productivity and minimize losses. Similarly, communities depend on fisheries as a major part of their diet. Even the national economy and the economy of the region are supported by the natural dynamics of this landscape. The Rupununi is one of the premier destinations for Guyana's tourism. Nature-based and community-based tourism in the Rupununi are dependent on the diverse wildlife, fisheries, the river systems, the freshwater flow, the wetlands, all the seasonality.
So how can we protect all of this beauty to maintain the value of the Rupununi?
Yes, it is important, Sasha, to maintain the value of the Rupununi and the river systems. We need to understand the science of the place, so understand the natural flows and the intrinsic values, the hydrological flows and dynamics. We need to avoid the sensitive areas after understanding all about the landscape. Avoid the sensitive areas. Plan better with the knowledge that these dynamics and the flow of river systems have. And also ensure that all are around the table. Every stakeholder, every community, every private sector body, every business, government are around the table in planning. We also need strong policies to ensure that there are systems and mechanisms to protect the landscape. I hope that answers your question, Sasha.
It does. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Aisha. We will now have some music. Earth Hour is known for bringing people together. And on set, we have a very special lady who will certainly let her voice be heard for nature and for the whole of Guyana. Jackie, the screen is yours.
If I think about the ways you make me smile, I'd be standing here smiling for a while. Although I know I make you cry sometimes, your happiness is ever on my mind. I cannot repay for everything you've done, but my love for you burns brighter than the sun. No matter where my feet and mind may go, my heart will lead to you and you alone. Guyana, Guyana, I'll be holding on to you forevermore. Guyana, Guyana, may the blessings of God never leave her shores. She's a paradise so wondrous to behold, a work of art, her heart is gleaming gold. They sail the waters, soar above the trees, to find the gem between the mountain seas. Your children all, we try though we may fall, but we stand united now to heed her cause. Our fathers fought the fights for liberty. Forever I'll defend Guyana free. Guyana, be holding on to you forevermore. Guyana, Guyana, may the blessings of God never leave her shores. Guyana, Guyana, I'll be holding on to you forevermore. Guyana, Guyana, may the blessings of God never leave. So rise up for our land. Rise up, won't everybody stand? Rise up for our land. Rise up, won't everybody take a stand? A stand. Rise up for my land. Every day I rise up, won't everybody stand? Rise up for our land. Oh, for Guyana, Guyana, I'll be holding on to you forevermore. My Guyana, Guyana, may the blessings of God never leave her shores. Guyana, for Guyana, I'll be holding on to you forevermore. Guyana, my Guyana, may the blessings never leave our shores.
Thank you so much, Jackie. That was an absolutely beautiful song. As we continue to place the spotlight on rivers, we will now hear from environmental enthusiast Alex Arjun, who has been telling the story of the Guyana through the eyes of his camera for many years. Tonight, he will be speaking up for rivers as well, as he shares with us the story of rivers in Guyana.
I've had the good fortune of traveling this beautiful country and witnessing the magnificently diverse landscape it has to offer. I definitely have to say that rivers are one of the truly special aspects of our natural environment. They not only play an important role in moving sediments from the highland region all the way down to the coast, but they also act as transportation networks for people all across Guyana. Most of our rivers are connected, with smaller rivers acting as tributaries for the larger ones. For me, one of the most fascinating things I've seen is the interconnectivity of these rivers from above. With the advent of technology such as Google Earth, we all have access to these sort of bird's eye view networks. But to actually film it while witnessing it up close is definitely something truly special that I've been able to experience, and I really want to bring that to the rest of Guyana through the videos and the films that I make. So I'm very lucky to do that, and I'm glad I can record that and share it with everyone. I think each river and ecosystem is unique, and the communities that live along these rivers have their own special way of life that, you know, all Guyanese can learn from. If we go to the southern part of Guyana, to the Rupaduni, we see a lot of riverine communities, or maybe just indigenous communities who benefit from these rivers, benefiting from the fact that healthy rivers provide an opportunity to have ecotourism. Now, a big part of Guyana's ecotourism industry is sport fishing. So visitors who are into fishing from all over the world and want to come to Guyana to catch the giant red-tailed catfish or the scary vampire fish, or even the arapaima in some places, catch and release of course, have that opportunity to come here, have a good time, discover different fish in this part of the world, and sort of contribute to the economic development of these communities as they rely on ecotourism as a big part of their livelihoods. Sport fishing is not the only thing that these rivers have to offer. These rivers are home to an abundance of mammals and birds, and these are also a major attraction for tourists or visitors coming to Guyana and exploring parts of our hinterland region. But Region 9 isn't the only place, as a matter of fact, where we see rivers playing a huge role in the lives of Guyanese. If we go to the northwest, essentially the other extreme of Guyana, we see rivers playing a super important role to indigenous communities. Unfortunately, there are not many connecting roads within the northwest, and as a result, the people of the region have to use the waterways or rivers as sort of mediums of transportation, whether it's in their canoe or their boat, to navigate these waterways, to have access to different communities. And, you know, this, from a very young age, we see young indigenous folks in canoes paddling up and down the river. It's almost like riding a bike for people like us who live on the coast. And it's just a different way of life, and these rivers are a big part of that. And I guess lastly, I would just like to highlight the fact that healthy rivers allow us to have a healthy mangrove ecosystem. And for many people who don't know, our mangroves, especially our river and mangroves, play a big role in sequestering carbon and acting as carbon sinks, essentially absorbing all the carbon in the atmosphere and storing them beneath their roots. So once we have those mangroves, we can reduce the amount of carbon, and Guyana can play its role with regards to battling climate change, the global climate change that's going on. So in summary, I guess what I want to say is that our rivers are very important for our well-being, and it's our duty as Guyanese to ensure that our rivers remain healthy and protected so that they can not only benefit us, but our children and the future generation of Guyanese.
That was such an amazing story. We really do need to protect our rivers so that they can thrive. We're almost at the end of the show before lights out. But as promised, we have a performance by Gavin Mendonca and Chucky. Do enjoy.
So here we are in beautiful Guyana, land of many waters. We got the freshest water, we got some of the most epic rivers, and some of the scariest rapids. So, Brother Chucky and I can take you on a little journey down some rivers of Guyana. So just rock back in your canoe. Hold on tight though, because we're approaching some rapids, and we'll tell you about them right now. One morning the captain wakey wakey, boat on, wakey wakey, bowman wake with a paddle in the hand. All I want is a long and strong is too much for me. Long and strong is eternally, oh, 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 oh. Captain, put me ashore. I don't want to go anymore. Itana me gun frighten me. Itana me gun drown me. Itana me go up me belly. Itana me too much for me, oh. Itana me, oh. Itana me, oh. Itana me. Captain wakey wakey, boat on, wakey wakey, bowman, wake with a paddle in the hand. All I want is a long and strong is too much for me. Long and strong is deep down on me. Oh, 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 oh. And she said, Captain, put me ashore. I don't want to go anymore. Tana me gon' frighten me. Tana me gon' drown me. Tana me gon' walk me belly. Tana me too much for me. Oh, Tana me, oh, Tana me, oh, Tana me, Happy Earth Hour 2021.
Now that we have seen what is happening with our rivers in the interior regions of Guyana, we will now go with the flow of these rivers and focus on the coast, highlighting an issue that we're all too familiar with and contribute to: improper waste disposal. Now we will have Arita Ford from the EPA explain how we can tackle this issue and the measures taken to protect the environment and rivers.
Thank you, Sasha, and happy Earth Hour to you and all the persons who are tuned in. Now, before we get to talking about plastic pollution and solid waste management, I'd just like to share that the EPA, as the lead environmental regulator in Guyana, is responsible for many things when it comes to environmental management, and especially our freshwater resources. Now, there are different ways in which we go about protecting our rivers and other water bodies, and this includes having environmental permits for businesses, whether they're located in the interior regions, mining operations, quarrying operations that would have an impact on freshwater quality in those areas. And as you would have mentioned, out on the coast. So on the coast, there are a number of issues that have an impact on freshwater quality, and more so plastic pollution, because if you look around, you will see that there are different single-use plastic items that litter our waterways. Now, we in the environment sector like to say that everything is connected to everything else. So when you take that plastic bottle or that straw and you just casually throw it, in the drain, it connects to our rivers, which connects to our oceans. And so we'd like to really take this opportunity to urge persons to dispose of their waste in the right way. And before your products even become waste, to really think about whether or not I need to purchase this item. Think about ways in which we can reuse the items that we purchase. And if they are used and they cannot be reused or repurposed, let's dispose of our waste in the right manner. Oftentimes, when we dispose of our waste, we like to think out of sight, out of mind. And we also like to think that, it's just one bottle or it's just one straw. However, we need to think about how our collective actions have an impact on the environment. And plastics, once they get into our waterways, they not only affect systems like the cokers that drain the water when it's flooded. Plastics, when they break down in the environment, get to be smaller pieces of plastic that we call microplastics. And those microplastics are then taken in by the fish that we like to enjoy. I don't know about you, but I really like fried fish. So we need to think about, things in the long term. In Guyana, there will be a ban on single-use plastic items, some of which include your food containers, that would be your plates, the little red plastic cups that we like to use, bowls, forks, straws, and plastic bags. Now those would be, the scandal bags that we get at our markets and at the regular shops and so on. These items are proposed to be banned because they have very low to little recycling potential. And of course, they're only meant to be used one time. So what we encourage persons to do is to really move to making the switch to using reusable items, of which there are a wide variety, and as we advance in technology and there's research and development going on, there's a wider variety of reusable or biodegradable items on the market. And of course, this would have a significant impact on the environment because, as we know, plastics do not naturally break down and return to the environment as nutrients, right? So we encourage persons to not only make the switch to reusable items, but also let's change the culture of casually throwing away our items, in our drains, on our parapets, and in public spaces. Let us get into the habit of putting our waste in the right places. That would be in our garbage bags and into our garbage bins. All right, so Earth Hour encourages us to go beyond the hour, switching off our non-essential lights for that 1 hour. And we at the EPA encourage you to really have an eco-friendly lifestyle. Let's do our part to protect the environment.
As we continue the conversation, let's now hear from our young people as they highlight the role that they've been playing to help protect our environment.
Hi, my name is Leon Barnwell, Vice President of the Guyana Youth and Environment Network. This year, we're joining WWF-Guianas and its partners to speak up for rivers. All water is generated by ecosystems, and all water eventually returns to the environment, along with whatever contaminants we've added. That is why it's important for us to protect our rivers, not only for nature, but our own well-being.
The Guyanas will be focusing on rivers. Our rivers are majestic and unique. The local people depend heavily on this freshwater resource for their livelihoods, and it's also a home to a wealth of wildlife species.
Freshwater has historically determined where civilizations began and thrived. It exists on the Earth's surface as lakes, rivers, and islands, and below the surface as groundwater. However, it is a very limited resource, as it only makes up about 3% of the total water on Earth. Therefore, it is very important that we join together and raise our voices in its protection.
In the last 40 years, we've lost about an average 80% of our freshwater species. This is twice as much as both land and marine species. Without immediate action to solve this crisis, we'll lose an immense amount of our freshwater biodiversity.
Freshwater and freshwater ecosystems like rivers, wetlands, and estuaries to me mean survival, because many plants and animals, including us humans, depend heavily on this natural resource. However, only 3% of water on the planet is considered freshwater, with only 1% of that being accessible to humans for use. Therefore, it is important that we protect our freshwater ecosystems, as it is essential for human health, biodiversity, and supports livelihoods and economies.
You can do so by practicing organic gardening techniques and avoiding the use of pesticides and chemical fertilizers to prevent chemicals from being unnecessarily leached into our waterways.
The South Rupaduni region of Guyana is home to 21 indigenous communities who sparsely populate the savanna and forested landscape. 4 headwaters, namely the Kutaro, Koyuwini, Riwo, and the Rupaduni rivers, originate in this area, and which all feed into the mighty Escobar River. These rivers provide a wide range of ecosystem services for the region, services which are critically important in the environment and natural habitats, and moreover for the livelihoods of the indigenous communities. For many years, the region's natural water systems have remained intact. The ever-expanding exploitative industries are now threatening the region's water system. This would include the gold mining industry, It is for these reasons it is important to advocate for the protection of our water resources, as not only the natural environment, but also the vulnerable indigenous communities of the
Earth Hour, protect our rivers together for clean rivers.
We are getting closer and closer to lights out. Now I want to encourage all of you to switch off your lights for 1 hour. That is from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. But that's not all. This year, we want to do something new. In light of our current circumstances with the global pandemic, with people stuck at home, WWF has developed a virtual spotlight that will use the power of our network, over 190 countries strong, to take over the internet for Earth Hour. This virtual spotlight is a video that puts a spotlight on our planet, the issues we face, and our place within it all. Now I'm sure you want to know how you can take part. It's simple. Just go to our WWF-Guianas, that's GUIANAS page on Facebook and share this video, and encourage others to do so as well. Remember, every share matters. So I present to you our virtual spotlight video.
What do you think when you hear the word pandemic? Masks, social distancing, Zoom, hospitals, scientists, lockdowns, families separated and devastated. The effects of a pandemic are easy to see, but what about the causes? No, not them, the real causes and drivers. Do you think of us and our broken relationship with nature? Deforestation, overexploitation, clearing the land for agriculture and livestock, overproduction, overconsumption, illegal consumption, our long list of unsustainable actions. When we destroy nature and take over natural habitats, we break the healthy balance and boundaries of the natural world, forcing wildlife into closer contact with each other, our livestock, and people. And all this makes it easier for diseases to spread between animals and to us. When and how we will emerge from COVID-19 isn't clear, but one thing is, the risk of future pandemics will only increase unless we fix our broken relationship with nature. So where do we go from here? The pandemic has shown us that we have it in us to make a change. We've mastered social distancing. Now, let's distance ourselves from the things that destroy our planet. We've learned that a little effort goes a long way. Now let's continue to do the little things to make the biggest difference. We've realized the importance of being outdoors. So let's protect the natural habitat that gives us so much. We've learned just how much of a difference a few degrees can make. Now let's face the climate emergency and keep our planet's temperature in check. We've seen that we can adapt to new ways of working. Let's now explore new ways of living that put people and planet first. It's clear that we can work together towards a common goal. Now let's make that goal the protection of our planet. Take the first step by sharing this video and put the spotlight on Earth.
On behalf of WWF and its main partners, GYEN, Conservation International, the Environmental Protection Agency, and Real Guyana, we would like to say thank you for taking part in this year's Earth Hour activities. We hope that we have inspired you to do more to protect this beautiful country of ours and to speak up for nature. And remember to stay safe.
Hi, I'm Candace. I'm Karen.
I am LaDonna.
I'm Blue.
I'm Vanshina.
I'm Mario.
And I am Sadia.
Just need some hope for tomorrow. We will be fine. In the middle of the valley, when you're looking for light, I'm right behind you, I'm with you, time after time. I got you through and through. Cover me, I'll cover you. I'm staying by your side.
We
can't physically be together shoulder to shoulder, but we are together screen to screen.
When we all unite, we can overcome the most difficult of challenges.
We are in this together.
Estamos en esto juntos.
Và cùng nhau, chúng ta có thể làm được.
This is the time to speak up for nature and show we care.
守护地球，一起更美更好。
Earth Hour has been a moment for millions of people to come together.
Taiwan and Auckland in New Zealand or Sydney in Australia.
首次开启线上互动仪式。
Join me and millions around the world.
与全世界一起关灯支持 Earth Hour.
Earth Hour.
Earth Hour. I'm switching off for Earth Hour because I think our planet is worth fighting for.
Change starts with us.
And it doesn't matter how small the thing you're doing.
If we can all make small steps in our daily lives, it all adds up to make a big difference.
The COVID-19 pandemic has taught us new ways to work together and support one another. As we emerge from this challenging health, social and economic crisis, it is important that we continue to work together to face the planet's climate and nature crisis.
Together in this, together we're strong and never alone.
Let us all put our hearts to the help of nature,
and we must act now.
Common solution. Working together,
strongly support humanity's impact
Now
on
is the time to act.
Join us on the 27th of March at 8:30 p.m. for Earth Hour and speak up for nature.
Connect to Earth. It is our only home and we are all in this together.
Happy Earth Hour.
Happy Earth Hour.
So we're at the moment everyone's been waiting for. It's time for Lights Out.